Hello, and welcome to the first of many episodes of the Gamer Librarian podcast. Stay tuned to listen to me discuss the book Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier, as well as what video games and books I am going through currently. I am your host, Adrian Jones. Since this is our first episode, allow me to tell you about myself. I am 26 years old and reside in New Jersey. I've lived here all my life and don't plan on leaving. Having 4 seasons years round is just really nice. I went to Centenary University here in Jersey and received a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I have a full-time job for a tech company, but I am also an avid gamer and reader. I suspect most of you listening are as well. I play nearly any video game I can get my hands on. Shooters, RPGs, puzzles, sports, love them all. I can still remember getting my first copy of Pokemon Yellow on the Game Boy Advance after having my gallbladder removed. I can't even tell you how many times I've finished that game in the years since. I enjoy all kinds of books, but I mostly lean towards science fiction and horror. My favorite novel was Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. If you aren't familiar with either of those titles, I recommend you check them out. Catcher was the first book I read in school that actually grabbed me. I read it back in high school, and it took about 3 days my first time. Now, it only takes me 1 day to finish. Not just video games and books, but I am a fan of anime. My absolute favorite is Dragon Ball Z. I'm currently all caught up on the manga, where I will be updating you all on whatever issue comes out. I think it's 89 or 90. I'm a big fan of comic books, manga, and tabletop RPGs. I'm currently the DM for a Mutants and Masterminds Marvel game with my friends, and a player for my friend's Dark Souls RPG campaign. You may be wondering why I've chosen to start this podcast, and to be honest, I just really wanted to talk about what I like and dislike about games and books. Maybe even persuade some of you listeners to experience them for yourselves. There's plenty of well-developed games and written novels out there that I'm excited to share with all of you. My friends and family have been extremely supportive in this new endeavor of mine, and I intend to give it my all. Now I can talk your ears off instead of theirs. Let me tell you a bit about the podcast itself and how I plan on having it structured every week. Firstly, you can expect a new episode to be released on Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, and Podcast Addicts every week. More platforms will be available in the future. Episodes might be pre-recorded ahead of time to account for news updates and technical issues. I am just figuring out this all myself, so please be patient. For the most part, we'll be discussing video games and books, usually whatever I'm playing or reading at the time. You can expect me to be playing the latest video game releases and telling you how I feel about them. We will also be discussing the latest video game news and announcements as they happen. E3 and other presentations are only a few months away, and I'm ecstatic to see the latest announcements. For now, the only podcast member is myself. We may have guests down the road, but that will most likely be limited to friends and Patreon subscribers, which we will talk about at the end of this episode. It'd be cool to maybe have developers in the game industry or other podcasters come on as guests, but that's far down the road. Wow, I did not think introducing myself would be tiring like this. It's like icebreakers that you do in school, but I'm the only one on the ice. For today, I only have one main topic I want to talk about, and it falls into both books and video games. What we'll be discussing today is the informative Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier. Jason is an accoladed editor and journalist with experience from Kotaku and The Wired. This is his first book, and I have to say it's written exceptionally. The book showcases the history and a few personal takes from the creators behind our most beloved video games. In it, you can read about Diablo 3's rocky launch with an infamous error message, how Halo Wars started a mini civil war between its developers, and my absolute favorite, the very reason why I bought this book, the penultimate and out-of-nowhere cancellation of one of Star Wars' most anticipated video games, Star Wars 1313. I don't want to dive too deep into the content of the book. It's truly an enlightening window into what makes or breaks a video game, in my opinion. Behind these video games is a lot of passion and hard work that I think should be recognized. I must say, as a fan of every single one of the games that were mentioned and released in the book, love them all. I have more positives to say about each game than negatives. Having that insight into what it took to get these games into my hands and the hands of every other gamer out there absolutely made me want to replay them. I even downloaded Halo Wars 1 and 2 on my Xbox Series S just from reading the book. Last thing I'll say on it is you can buy it nearly everywhere, online and physically. The Amazon link will be attached in the episode. While you're at it, you can even pick up Jason Schreier's second book, Press Reset. Just as great as the first one mentioned. It even has a story about how a baseball player and a Rhode Island politician funded a video game together. Read it. Absolutely amazing. With that out of the way, let me tell you about the two games I am trying to finish right now. Wulong Fallen Dynasty and Metroid Prime Remastered. Wulong is phenomenal. I just got to the boss Aoi, and I haven't survived long enough to get halfway through its health. This game is like Sekiro meets Nioh. It still has a lot of what you'd expect from a Souls-like game, but its main emphasis on combat is legendary. It has weapon arts and spells, which are crucial to use. Its parry mechanic feels great, even under the stress of combat. Timing that is extremely crucial. Can't wait to get back into it tonight. For Metroid Prime, I steal a few hours of playtime here and there, usually when my girlfriend is playing Hogwarts Legacy on my PS5. Metroid Prime Remastered is an absolute beauty of a game. A lot of what was janky and cumbersome in the original controls on the GameCube were fixed, even with the addition of different button layouts for modern playstyles. If you have a Switch, I highly recommend getting that game. It just hit shelves again. It had a lot of physical order demands, but digital, it should still be available. The book I am currently reading is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This isn't my first time reading it. I read it for the first time right out of high school, and I always come back to it. It's a phenomenal novel. I recommend it to anybody's first read King book. It has some nice pacing and a short list of characters who are entertaining the whole way through. A lot of King's best writing is in this book itself, and shows how it can still hold up today, even after getting multiple movie adaptations, which are just as good. Now let's talk about the Capcom Spotlight Showcase, where Capcom recently just showed off that their Mega Man Legacy Battle Network collection will be coming out sometime in April. Those games look like Mega Man meets kind of tactics, strategy kind of game. I never played them. I never really played much of Mega Man games, to be honest, but they do look fun. Street Fighter 6 is also supposed to be coming out sometime this year in June, and the Capcom Cup has a large prize pool of $2 million, which is staggering. Truly good luck to every participant going out and trying to earn that prize. Their other game, Exo Primal, is kind of like Groundhog's Day meets Anthem or Overwatch, where you play as these mech individuals fighting hordes of dinosaurs. That's all you need from me. Guns and dinosaurs, I'm in. The beta is sometime this month, and it comes out later on in June. Even it's going to be on Game Pass for those of you who want to try it out for cheap. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective also comes out sometime in June, and that game I believe is made by the same person who brought you Ace Attorney. It's kind of like a more laid-back mystery side-scroller, I believe. Definitely check it out if those are your kind of games that you're into. I might get it. Resident Evil Death Island was just announced. It's probably the 7th or most recent Resident Evil animated movie. I like them. I think all the animated movies, even some of the live action ones, are pretty good. They don't have to be super great. They just have to, obviously have characters you enjoy or you remember seeing and put them in fun and interesting situations. I'm not a Resident Evil lore diehard, but it's definitely going to be fun seeing, I think, Leon and Jill taking on underwater zombies or anything on that island. It does look fun. Last thing they showed off was Resident Evil 4 Remake, which they just announced a demo is out right now on all major platforms. This game comes out on March 24th, and you can absolutely bet that I will be getting it day one, playing it, and telling you all what I think about it as I play through it. The trailers for it look gorgeous, and it's been quite some time since I played the original, and the remake looks like it has the same kind of love and care that Resident Evil 2 Remake has received, and Resident Evil 7. I can't believe it's time to wrap up. I hope you all enjoyed that as much as me. Now, if you like this episode and would like to hear more, please follow me on our many platforms or one of our social media accounts for updates on new episodes and more. Leave a comment and tell me what games and books you're going through currently and the ones you're looking forward to. Thanks again for listening.